in the St. Louis Dispatch.
So this is sort of backing up the point here in a different way. Columnist Lynn Schmidt says it's too late to challenge Trump and his control of the party and base. Trump has enough voters. He has control of the state parties. He has a significant influence over the national party, and his opponents have done too little to distinguish themselves from Trump, let alone explain why he shouldn't be president again. The resentments that Trump voters feel haven't changed over the last 7 years, and to think they have is foolish. My neighbor just replaced his somewhat tattered Trump flag with a brand new one, which incidentally hangs
Fly it high, friend. Fly
next
it
to a
high.
flag exclaiming, Biden sucks.
2024. Yeah,
He,
you keep
like
doing that.
other Republican base voters, still loves Trump. The time for wishing Trump out of the national picture is long gone. This is me now. They've missed their window. I mean, the window is unfortunately now, and these crazy moments.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's missed his window. The question is, can he go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump? And I think the answer we've seen is no. I mean, it just doesn't seem like. And
the Republicans have missed their window to move away from Trump.
I think, is spot on. It's something we've been saying around here for a long time. Let's see who else gets in. Let's see if somebody will take him on directly. Ron DeSantis is probably the best guy to do that. But again, there's just nothing in the data. There's nothing we know about the modern Republican Party. There's nothing we know about Donald Trump for the last 8 years or whatever it's been that says the dynamic is going to change. If he can lead a coup, an attempted coup against the United States government and get away with it and still have 75% of the party say, I don't think they should do anything about it. Even if he's charged with something, he should still run for president. If that doesn't matter to them, what's going to change the dynamic? If staging an attempted coup against the government, an attack on the Capitol, doesn't change the way people feel about him within the Republican Party, I don't think Nikki Haley or even Ron DeSantis is going to.
I mean, early polls are early polls, right? And it's March, still March. It's like super early polls, but it's polls for the last 8 years that have had. You know, it's not polls from a new batch of presidential candidates that the voters haven't ever seen before. He's led in presidential primaries for 8 years, and it just doesn't. I saw the Post had a story you talked about it on Way Too Early about, I think that's probably Republicans within D.C. getting nervous about Trump and looking around at alternatives. And Scott Reed, who ran Bob Dole's campaign, is in that piece. And he's like, around the fall, people start getting nervous in Iowa. And a couple of people will get a look. Maybe Nikki Haley will get a look, or Chris Christie if he gets in, or the vest is
Glenn Youngkin. Yes.
We love sports analogies here. And I am loath to compare Donald Trump to anybody favorably. But this is Mike Tyson when he's heavyweight champion. As far as the Republican Party goes, you had Tyson and everybody else. Maybe Buster Douglas lands a punch. I don't think so. And so this isn't one of these things. You don't back into a fight with Mike Tyson. And that's what all of these people are doing. They're such wimps. They have got to go after him hard. They've got to smother him in the center of the ring. They have to be relentless. They have to do what we're doing here. Dude, if you have problems with your kids, I assure you, nobody in Iowa wants to hear about it. You take that into your little fake gold-plated living room with all of your trust fund babies, and you do it, okay? We'd rather talk about, I don't know, the economy, the price of bread, the cost of prescription, whatever it is. It's not that hard.
Donald,
nobody can do it.
You can be the candidate for all the Republican voters who don't love their children. I, on the other hand, will be the candidate for voters in the Republican Party who love their children.
Right.
Let's just stack that policy up straight up against
I think they think they can say things like, I don't kick sideways, instead of that's
trying to
wrong.
figure that out.
I
don't know.
It's an excuse not to be strong, and people want strength. Saying things like that, getting around saying, look, a convict choir is wrong. Right. It's sick. It is an insult to our democracy, and I would never do that. I don't even understand what's going on there.
Kathy, the question was asked yesterday, what would Republicans do if in Bernie Sanders' last campaign, he went around the country with a convict choir?
In his mittens.
In his mittens.
And puffer.
And what would Republicans say? Okay.
Let's do it again. What's the bad?
I'm
do
not
it.
going to do it again.
No,
But this
please
is
do
my
it again.
convict choir, and when they're gonna sing the song. I'm gonna pledge allegiance to convicts. What would
J6.
Republicans say?
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that even Bernie Sanders would have gone around and said he loved his kids, right?
Yeah.
Or that his supporters
Yes.
loved his kids. I don't know
Yes.
that even he would have gone that far, mittens or no mittens. The only sort of counter-argument to all of this is that there are glimmers that DeSantis has a window, an edge with some key voters, and particularly that Monmouth poll showing that he was ahead with evangelical voters. Is there a chance that come to Iowa, Trump has an upset like he did in 2016? I mean, I know he accused Ted Cruz back then of stealing, I think it was stealing or fraud in Iowa. Sounds familiar, right? But I think there are possibilities for DeSantis. He's just got to show that he has the backbone to take on Trump, and we haven't seen any of that yet. But certain evangelical voters are they're not looking at Trump the same way. It doesn't look like he's going to get 80% with you. I mean, already they've got their Supreme Court that they want. They've got their judges that they want. They've had Roe overturned. So there's a window there for somebody, I think, with that section of certainly with the Republican base to say.
You guys have been out. Do you get that sense?
I love my kids, and by the way, vote for me.
Good.
I mean, I went to a Mike Pence event. I went to a Mike Pence event at Bob Jones University. Okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so this is an evangelical school.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it is.
everyone, they loved Vice President Pence. They love hearing him testify to his faith. It would be amazing if we had a Republican
great.
nominee like that. But will you vote for Donald Trump? Absolutely.
But we'll take
because
the guy who hates his kids and wants to terminate the
because of
Constitution.
sanctity of life. That's what
Yeah.
every single person I talk to
I
says.
ask you, Joe,
Yeah.
as you were talking about the Mike Tyson's analogy, which is, we got to have a plan, right? And
Yeah.
Tyson's thing, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face. Everybody says DeSantis could. Kai's right. I think there is a window. He's going to have to go on a debate stage against Donald Trump. How did Ron DeSantis do against Chris Christie? Against
Charlie Crist.
Against Charlie Crist.
Charlie Crist made him look foolish.
And Andrew Gillum.
And Andrew Gillum, I know. No, that's why, got to say, DeSantis really is another Florida governor that's going to get crushed by Donald Trump. If DeSantis runs against Trump, Jonathan Lemire, his best shot, and I mean this, he's got to bow out of all the debates. He's got to say, I don't need to debate that guy. That guy's crazy. I don't want to hear about him hating his kids. No, I'm just saying he can't take him on one-on-one on a debate stage. He just can't. So do what Republicans are talking about doing in the general election. Don't do debates. That's his only shot.
Yeah, I mean, the Republican apparatus does seem, at least part of the establishment, wanting to rally around DeSantis. We know that his super PAC's hired some big name operatives. There's going to be some fundraising that's going to come. They're making optimistic noises about, but he's not in. He's not going to get in. And the danger here is if you remain silent like this, you let your opponent define the race. And the opponent is Donald Trump, who is defining the race by bludgeoning him each and every day.
Oh, my God, though. Alex Corson.
Yeah.
Just gave me the name. That is the future.
Yeah.
You ghost your opponent. You become the Katie Hobbs of the Republican Party.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm going to go home and sit in my living room.
That's not what she did,
And watch
but okay.
reruns of Sopranos.
That's not what she did.
No, she did.
She did events,
Oh, come
but
on.
she did not
Let's
do
not
debates.
rewrite history. And by
I'm
the
not.
way,
I'm bringing some.
she's the governor.
She is the governor.
Every-
She won.
I doubted her strategy.
And we doubted her.
By the way, everybody doubted her.
Yes.
Democrats. And by the way, people are like,
Loudly.
why do you say all these horrible things about Katie Hobbs? Only repeating what every Democrat in Arizona told me, what every journalist
Well, no,
told
and
me.
it seemed also to make sense.
I look
Like, you
forward to
should
the
go out
day
and
when
do
the DeSantis
debates.
campaign announces that it's following the Katie Hobbs strategy and taking out Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Ghost
that
him.
moment when
He
the
doesn't
background
exist.
reporters, hey, it worked for Katie Hobbs against Carrie Lake, so that's how we're going to do it against Trump.
Kind of coming after.
It's a good idea. I like that.
All right, we'll get back to politics.